My responsibility here is to introduce the MEC, as has been said. It is very sweet to introduce someone that is well known. It gives you no issues. Firstly, we are here with the Honorable MEC Nomsa Dube as our leader in government business. She is the current MEC of Economic Development, Tourism and Environmental Affairs, as we all know, a brand new first woman. Right. She was previously the MEC for Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs in our province, KZN. She had served as a speaker of eThekwini Metro. What is more importantly is that she has served with distinction as an ambassador in Czech Republic. And there's a saying that says, once an ambassador, you're always an ambassador. So we know that as charged with the responsibility of holding our businesses, she's going to do very well in that as well, because she's got in herself, whatever she touches becomes gold. She's known. So lastly, before I go down, I just want to congratulate you, MEC, for being elected to the position. And as women, we are fully behind you. Ladies and gentlemen, I said my responsibility was very short and sweet. Allow me then to raise the MEC of Economic Development Agency.
Thank you very much, Councillor Sibiya, for those kind and warm words. I really appreciate. I always say that. Indeed, I was an ambassador, but I'm not a diplomat. Sometimes I tell things as they are. I do wish to acknowledge EU Program Director, Mr. Moshe. I also wish to acknowledge you, my sister, Deputy Mayor Ndosi, Siswam. Siyajabula ukuba phakathi kwenu ubuholi balapha kwa Transnet. I would like to acknowledge the Acting Group Chief Executive, Mr. Mahomedi, as well as the Chief Corporate, Ms. Xolishwa Mpongoshe, as you've correctly indicated. I also wish to acknowledge Captain Lekala, as well as the SAOSA CEO, Mr. Besnard, the President of the Zululand Chamber, Mr. Shale, our partners and our friends from the SVP Africa and the Middle East, being led by Mr. Gianfranco Sototeti, as well as the head of Africa and Customer Support, Mr. Nicolo Babeta. I also wish to acknowledge the chair of our Richards Bay IDZ, Mr. Mal Clark. Allow me, ladies and gentlemen, to also acknowledge the acting CEO of the Richards Bay IDZ, Ms. Ngobo Usma, as well as the Ports Manager of Richards Bay, Mr. Sitole, all the leadership of the Ports Authority and the committees of the ports and various leadership of the Ports Authority, as well as the TNPA executives that are present here this morning, both the Ports of Durban and the Port of Richards Bay executives, and the Transnet executives that are represented, including the organized labor, the marine and the pilots that are also represented, the leadership and all the members of SASOA who are people that we are here because of them today, the captains of industry, the graduates and the marine and the training of the pilots and the training program, our friends from the media, ladies and gentlemen, all of you distinguished guests, allow me to greet you all this morning and say, is it a good day? Good day. On behalf of the provincial government of KwaZulu-Natal, I would like to express our appreciation to the entire management of Transnet, National Ports Authority, both national and provincially, for inviting us to this very important occasion. I recall that sometimes in July last year, a memorandum of understanding was signed between Richards Bay Industrial Development Zone, Umhlatuze Local Municipality, Transnet National Ports Authority, and thus paved the way for establishment of the framework for parties to engage effectively with one another on strategic issues of mutual benefit and significance. Critically to us as KwaZulu-Natal government, we appreciate the fact that Transnet is announcing that there were plans to invest more than 7.5 billion in Richards Bay over the next 5-year period of the 2018 to 2022. We indicated as a government that the signing of that MOU opened up a significant opportunity for all the parties to work together effectively on a long and a short-term plan to ensure that we have effective deliverables of uplifting our economy of KwaZulu-Natal. The fact that we are all here today is a testimony that we are working together to create a prosperous province. And I've often stated that many platforms that our success as a province is critical for the success of the whole country and of the neighboring countries. And the successes of KwaZulu-Natal is usually the one that usually has a lot of impact in the whole of South Africa as a country. And that is why it's always very critical and important that as KwaZulu-Natal, we work extra hard to uplift the economy of the country and to bridge the gap and create those economies that are supposed to increase our economy. EOs and the delegation that is coming from outside of this country, coming from the world-renowned largest companies in Indonesia, East Malaysia, and other parts of Africa. And myself, with other officials from the Department of Trade and Industry and our entity have been engaging with many other countries and our neighboring countries, in particular in Africa, with a view of exploring and ensuring that we tighten our economies and take advantage of the friendship that exists within our African continent and within our Africa, as we've seen our African presidents signing that agreement of trying to bridge and open those borders for us to be able to trade amongst each other within the African continent. So we are delighted by the fact that we have the CEOs and the delegations here today. When we started this term of office, Program Director, as the 6th administration, we undertook to double our efforts to ensure that over the next 5 years, we create more than 30,000 jobs through targeted foreign direct investments, as well as looking on the township economies. In addition, we set ourselves ambitious targets of creating more than 10,000 jobs through extensive and intensive export promotion. Therefore, these investments that we see is timely and much needed for our province. I must also point out that this investment would not only have been possible without the partnership involving the IDZ, the Transnet, Umhlatuze Municipality, the Department of Trade and Industry, and all the other partners, the Transnet and Port Authority, as we've heard since this morning. It is encouraging that to date, the IDZ has already been able to sign investment of more than 11.9 billion, representing different key sectors of the economy in our district, which has got a potential to create thousands of jobs, particularly permanent jobs, in various sectors during construction and after the construction. Our message here today as the government is that let us continue to work together and put this country on a new trajectory of a socio-economic development. We are cognizant of the fact that Transnet will also be investing more monies over the next 5 years nationally into the existing ports, rail and pipeline operation, as well as in the infrastructure. And KZN, we are also excited that we have been allocated that 7.5 billion for projects, particularly in the Richards Bay. In addition, we also wish to welcome the fact that Transnet has budgeted for a total of 45 projects in Richards Bay over the next 5 years. These includes the expansion project of the Richards Bay Convention of the Berth 702, the Bayview rail yard expansion, the improvement to the export coal line transporting from Mpumalanga to the ports of Richards Bay, as well as the permanent way maintenance. Clearly, these are exciting projects, an exciting time for ourselves as well as for our people of KwaZulu-Natal. Another issue I'd like to highlight is that in the past, our province and the port users have highlighted a number of concerns and a number of issues related to governance, related to policies, and related to the pricing. We have taken up these issues and we are engaging, we've even engaged the President himself on some of the issues around our ports. And we would like to ensure that we work together to deal with some of those governance issues, because we cannot afford to lose the traffic that we so need in our ports of Durban and the one of Richards Bay. Last year, we were afforded an opportunity to host, on behalf of the South African government, an Ocean Rim Association, which is a forum of countries that are strategically located along the Indian Ocean. We were particularly inspired by the theme of IORA, which was saying uniting the peoples of Africa, Asia, Australasia, and the Middle East through enhanced cooperation for peace, stability, and sustainable development. Given the fact that IORA is sharply focusing on the ocean's economy, we took a decision as KwaZulu-Natal government to pursue interest in the oil and gas industry. This IDZ is being developed as a site and an anchor for energy infrastructure, especially gas, as we move forward. We want to use the Black Industrialist Program to drive the radical economic transformation program within the energy sector. We are determined to ensure that our people benefit from the natural resources, particularly our women and our youth. This province is blessed with natural resources, too many to mention, and we must work together to convert such resources into wealth that builds our rural economies and our township economies for the benefit of all our people in the province. This province has got a lot to offer to our country as well as to the globe. I must hasten to point out, ladies and gentlemen, that the 2 helicopters will help to strengthen our program of focusing on Operation Phakisa. You will also recall that this government initiative was launched here in this province, in our province, which is aimed at unlocking the opportunities in the ocean's economy. And I couldn't have said it better than what Sisqoliswa has actually outlined our Operation Phakisa's outcomes were when it was first launched here in our province. Our President, His Excellency President Ramaphosa, announced in many platforms that Operation Phakisa will create millions of job opportunities. So it is for this reason that KwaZulu-Natal is finalizing our plans in the Natal Boat Building Park as part of the Maritime Vessel Industrial Complex at the Bayhead in the Port of Durban. The boat building sector has been identified as having a potential in stimulating new investment, exports, and job creation. The boat building park is planned to be of one of the world-class space for the production and the repair of leisure as well as the commercial boats. It will be a single largest boat building facility in Southern Africa. It will also accommodate the emerging Black-owned boat building companies and key suppliers in the industry. The project will also represent an investment of more than 250 million rand and will have the capacity to produce to 150 boats annually, mainly for the export market. The park will also have the Marine Skills Development Center to provide the on-job and practical training for the unemployed youth of our province and outside. I also wish to draw the attention of all of you, ladies and gentlemen, and remind you that with moving ahead, the BRICS Summit last year, the venue that we hosted the roundtable in Durban, one of the BRICS Business Council roundtable, the event that was attended by many of the international delegates, including the diplomatic corps, the theme that was BRICS in Africa, collaboration for inclusive growth and shared prosperity for the fourth industrial revolution. The BRICS Business Council, where we dealt with the digital economy within that working group and deliberated on many matters that were associated with technology revolution. And within the context of the fourth industrial revolution, as KwaZulu-Natal, we are investing more than 35 million within the technoparks. And this technopark is one of the 4 of the science and technology innovation centers to be rolled out in our province. And since the launch of this facility, there has been a groundswell of optimism that this multi-million rand ICT infrastructure will create a knowledge-based society in the digital economy that is rapidly becoming the economy of the future, and ignoring this economy will leave us all behind. We are also determined to continue to market our technoparks in many platforms, and this will focus on attracting academics, researchers, innovators interested to open offices around the facilities, as there is plenty of land that is available for such techno hubs. And we have also, as KwaZulu government, particularly in this department that I'm leading, we have set ourselves a target that would like to see KwaZulu-Natal having a wall-to-wall connection within the next 5 years. We want to see the whole of KwaZulu-Natal, as we roll out the fiber network, we also want to connect every rural area, every part of our township, every part of our areas, so that with the internet connection, we will be able to create those much needed jobs, but also we will be able to open our province to the world and the world to our province. And we would like to invite all of you to really participate, particularly our young people, our investors, our social partners, all of you to participate as we roll out the Internet of Things, the robotics, and all the exciting ICT, cutting-edge technology that we want to see happening here in our doorstep in KwaZulu-Natal. With those words, we also wish to thank you very much once more. I wouldn't have summed all as Mr. Lekala has summed, that today is a transformational journey of young people, of a dream of our young people of South Africa, many of them who would not have dreamt of a day when they could fly one of those animals that sometimes you see it there flying and you point at it until it disappears up in the sky, you know, imagining that kind of an animal or a bird or something that is flying up there. And today, it's our own young kids. From eMlazi, lapho esifunde khona. Ngifunde eMlazi nami sisixolisa. Babelekala. Nami ngifunde eMlazi ngaqeda umatric wami eMlazi. So that is where I finished my matric eMlazi. So I know the kind of life that we had in our schools. We never imagined that one day we could be afforded such an opportunity of being able to fly, of being able to take that machine and tear it apart as engineers and put it together and get it to fly back and get it to be seen and marveled by the world. And one of the excellent industry that we've been known with as South Africa, by the way, was the sale of our cutting-edge aircraft, Mr. Lekale, Udenel. And sometimes I feel very sad when I see that we're no longer playing in that space. Whenever in Europe, I come from South Africa, we were known by our machines that we were selling in Europe. And we are not playing big in that space anymore. And as a captain, you'll know the pride that we take when we fly those machines. And it's something that was a pride of Africa and of South Africa. And I think these young people, as they enter this industry, you'll probably take us back to that pride of being able to continue to come and put together those aircrafts that we were known with creating. And we wish you all the best of luck. Don't look back. You can see now that since you can fly, the sky is not the limit, because we are told that from the sky there's still something else up there. So there is no limit from the opportunities that you have been given. And we wish to thank the visionary leadership that took the risk, because from many of you, it was a risk that you took of putting some of those kids through this program for the past 5 years and coming out with these jewels that we are marveling today, that we are congratulating today. I wish to thank you very much for your visionary leadership as a collective, for all of you who've worked to put us today together, to congratulate you and say, may you do many more of these wonderful things that you've done here today. There are many of those kids who are still languishing there in the townships, in our rural areas, who are despondent. Many of them have lost hope, and we have still a lot of work to do to bring them back and give them hope and show them that there are still people who care, and that our country still cares for them, and that we still love them, and awukho umqomo esingabalahla kuwona, because bangabantwana bethu, bangabantwana balapha eAfrika. So we wish to thank you very much on behalf of KwaZulu government, and everything of the best. Thank you.